Hi guys, welcome to another one of the Bicester AC training sessions. This video is for under 13s and up, and we're going to be focused on some javelin throwing. We're going to focus on the key basic technique of how to throw and how to stand when we're going to be throwing a javelin, or this could also be a tennis ball or a howler or anything like that. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure you've done your warm-up, make sure you've watched the video of the warm-up and you've done each warm-up. It's really important that we do the warm-ups every time to make sure we don't get injured, we don't ache too much the day after a session. Okay, once you've done your warm-up, we're now going to do a few med ball throws to get us practiced and warmed up to start with, okay? So if you've got a med ball, a slam ball, a football, any ball that you can hold in two hands is ideal. You can even use a cabbage or a large onion, whatever you can. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to be throwing from between our legs up into the air, and we're going to do 5 of those. So when we're doing this, I want to make sure that you bend your knees before you throw, and you extend your knees and you extend your arms nice and high. And one more. Okay, once done the first throw, we're now going to do an overhead football throw. Okay, so you're going to start with your ball behind your head, your elbows nice and high, and then we're going to pull the elbows forward to throw forward. I'm going to be throwing against the wall, but you can also throw to a member of your family in pairs if you want to. We're going to do 5 of those again. And what I want you to focus on when you're doing this is to have high elbows, and it's your elbows moving forward first, not your hands. Okay, that's your elbows moving forward first, not your hands. Now what we're going to do is do some throws with a tennis ball, okay? We're going to focus on isolating each movement, so the movement of the hand, the movement of the arm, the movement of your hips, to start to really practice the perfect technique for how we want to throw a javelin. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to get down on our knees, and you're going to throw with just your wrists. So your hand out in front of you, you're going to throw with just your wrists, so you're going to be flicking your wrist forward. And you can throw again against a wall or with a member of your family in pairs. Okay, once you've done the wrist, we're now going to focus on the lower arm. Okay, so you're going to start with your arm to the side of your head, and then you're going to extend and throw just your lower arm again on your knees, and you're going to do 5 of those. Okay, once you're doing that one, I want you to focus on your elbow being nice and high to the side of your body, and you're extending your arms fully as you throw forward. The next one we're going to do, still on our knees, is now we're going to do a full arm throw. So we're going to start with our arm behind us. We're then going to bend it as our hand moves past our head, and then we're going to extend and throw it to the wall like we've just done. With that one, I want you to focus on your hand starting nice and far backwards, then your arm is bent as it moves past your head. Okay? We're now going to do that one standing. We have a few more practice of that, and we're going to break that movement down a little bit more in a moment, so don't worry if you're not sure if you're getting it quite yet. Okay, once you've practiced all on one arm, you're going to do all those throws again on the other arm. It's great to be practice on both arms so you're equally strong and you can throw with both arms. Once you've done that, we're now going to focus on exactly how the elbow moves past our head when we're throwing, okay? Which is really important because if we don't do this correctly, when we're throwing the javelin, it won't land point first and it would be a no throw. I'm going to show you two different ways of throwing. I want you to watch my elbow. I want to see if you can notice what is different about them, okay? So here's the first one, watching my elbow. And I'll show you that one again, watch my elbow. And here's the second one, again, watch my elbow. And one more time. Okay. Hopefully you'd have noticed that on the second two, my elbow was nice and high. It was up here rather than down here. Okay, so that's the first most important thing about when we're throwing, is that we have a nice high elbow. Secondly, when we're doing the throws, we need to make sure that our hand with the javelin doesn't move towards our shoulder. Okay, so I'm going to show you again 2 more times. I want you to watch my hand. Notice the difference between 2 throws where the hand moves to the shoulder, 2 throws where it doesn't move to the shoulder. So here's the first one, and the second one, and then the other way, and the other way. Okay. And hopefully you notice the first 2 were the correct way of throwing. We're now going to practice that in some isolations. Okay, so if you've got some resistant bands like I have, that's great. But if you've also got a family member who can hold a skipping rope, that'd be great as well. So what you want to aim for is you're going to hold the band or the skipping rope behind you as if you're ready to throw. A little bit of stretch left, and then you're going to try and move this arm as if you're throwing. It'll be nice and slow. Okay, so the first thing I want you to focus on is whether your elbow is low or high. Okay, secondly, I want you to focus on whether your hand is moving towards your shoulder or if it's staying away. And finally, I want you to focus on what's moving first. Is it your hand moving first, pulling forwards, or is it your elbow moving first, pulling forwards? Okay, once you've done that with both arms, we'll now go back to the tennis ball throw for some final practice, putting that all together, focusing on a high elbow, a hand staying away from our shoulder, and the elbow is the first thing to move, pulling the rest of the arm forwards. We're going to do 5 throws on both arms. Okay, and make sure you do the other arm as well. So that's it for today, that's the session. We focused on the technique of the arm when we're throwing the javelin, and next time we do a javelin session, we'll be focusing on how we stand and how we step into the throw. And what's really important is how we use our hips before we move our arms. Okay, just as an example of what you can use instead of a resistant band is you can have a skipping rope with someone holding the end of it, and you've got the loop of it. And you're going to hold the skipping rope back as if you're going to throw the javelin, and then do the same thing that I showed you with the resistant bands. Okay, and then one more way you can do it as well is just with someone holding your hands as well. So what you're going to do is have your hand back, as if you're going to do the javelin, and you're just going to cut the fingers around. Okay. And the person who holds your hands holds a little bit of resistance, not enough that you have to really push hard to pull, but enough that it will slow down the movement so you can really focus on where your elbow is and how it moves past your head.